So this is the Kodiak Canvas, 10 by 14, correct, Pete?
Yep. The deluxe with the side windows.
I think it's a VX they call it.
Yep.
So extra ventilation, or XV, it's probably correct. And it's a canvas type tent. It's got a single pole with a bow over the top, which you'll see. And we're just gonna show you basically how this thing sets up. We've done this once before and somehow the video didn't come out very well. I think I was using an old GoPro and the file got corrupted. So Pete's just spreading out the footprint, obviously. Tent all packs up in a bag about that size. What do you figure it weighs, Pete?
The manual says 86 pounds with the tent and pole.
Okay. So we do have a big 14 by 16 wall tent as well, but it's considerably heavier and harder to set up. The nice thing about this is it's the extra heavy canvas fabric, and especially for the colder weather, if you're going to run a hot tent setup, any kind of heat in it, which we're going to run just a propane heater in it tonight, it really holds the heat a lot better than you know, a ventilated nylon tent or something like that, because you can zip it all down and keep that bubbly heat in there right next to you.
So we want to turn this.
So right now he's looking, determining which side's the front and which side's the back. So here's our little camp area. So we kind of want the front facing where we're going to spend most of our time. And the only downside with these canvas tents, well, I guess it's a downside with any tent really, is number one, it's a tent, but number two, the canvas, you really got to make sure it's dry before you sew all that stuff, because it's a natural fiber, you know, just doesn't take well to being stored wet. It'll tend to mold and mildew. Pete's got some, these stakes don't come with it. They're a different type of stake. It's an auger stake that is good for compacted stuff at the campground. And how many of those, I mean, I know how many it says to put in, but how many do you actually use most of the time?
So on the California trip, I actually put in 6 in hard pack, and it held fine for the trip.
Okay. So 4 for the corners and 2 for the front awning?
Yeah, no, actually I used 1 at each corner and then 2 for the door.
Okay.
And the awnings I staked out separate.
I see. So it is the 24th of January. We're out here at Rife Lake. The lake's been down quite a bit for years, but water level is actually not too bad for this time of year, so we threw together a quick couple-day camping trip. Come out here and see if we could catch some fish for you guys. The park itself is Mossyrock Park. It's part of the Tacoma Power park system, and during this time of year, it's all first come, first serve. As you can see, it's not super busy. Reservations are available in May through, I want to say, September or so. So this time of the year, it's a little easier to get a site just driving up and walking in. Okay, so he's got his corners all staked down, and that's true of just about any big canvas type tent, that you really do need to, they're not freestanding. You do need to stake them down to the ground. It's part of the structural support. So the way this support system works is very interesting. So that's your ridge pole there, and it's got an end with spreaders on it, and there's the other end of the ridge pole, and then there's a sliding sleeve in the middle of it, and you'll see how that goes together. So those spreaders actually are what just holds the shape of that end of the tent, and it goes through the 2 sleeves there and just plugs into the very end, and that's what provides your structure.
Well, that would have been good.
Oh, you used I see what you did. Put it in the wrong one. There you go.
That's gonna work a lot better.
How many times you set this thing up, take it down there in California? 3 or 4?
3. Nice part is you can just do it yourself.
I like that part too, Pete.
Yeah.
You set up and I'll film. So we're going to run a little bit of propane heat in here tonight. It's supposed to get down to 25, 27 degrees. It's not as cold here as some other parts of the country, but it's chilly enough for a night out tent camping that a little bit of heat will feel good. So we're going to run propane heat in the tent, propane heat in the boat. Be fishing like two old men. So this is the part that tensions and stretches it out. So you put that center piece together and it sort of levers down like that. And your slide piece is right there. It slides over and snaps. So now it's all one solid piece and it keeps tension on your, that's essentially the top of your tent right there. Then you've got a side pole on each side that comes in, it plugs into the top here, right there. And then it plugs into the bottom right here. Same thing on both sides. I'm standing on it, so I'm not helping.
I did the same thing.
So as you can see there, one person pretty much whipped that together pretty quick. And the structure of it is essentially set. Now there's two poles here that you can put out front. This part comes up and makes an awning, which we've actually sat under in the rain. And then, of course, the windows on the ends you can open up for ventilation in the warm weather or close them up to maintain the heat in the cold weather. The only thing I'll say about this particular design is, as you can see, it's got a pole on either end and then the pole across the top. It's not really designed to handle tons and tons of snow load. So if you were going to use this in the snow and it was snowing heavily, you'd have to clean the top of that tent off to make sure it was going to stay secure. But as far as wind and stuff goes, as long as you stake it out properly, this tent stands up in the wind remarkably well for the volume of the tent that it has. And that's the nice part about it for us. A lot of times you see tents rated at 2 people, 4 people, 6 people. I don't know what they rate this at, but I would say this is about perfect for 2 people because you can get 2 cots in there. You can get a little table in there, heat. You know, if you're running a CPAP machine, any of that stuff, you got plenty of room to move around. Stand up. You can do get dressed. I don't think I do.
Hatchet.
I don't think I have any of that in the truck.
All right. So once you get inside here, I have a loft storage locker, pretty handy. Got a compartmented locker. My plan is to get a couple more doors on both front and back, and then again these windows zip down all the way. We run heaters in this in California. I just ran the top like that. What I found is you want to tuck those in if it's really windy, because if the flap is pointed in, the wind tends to follow that and blows down on top of you. So that's the tent.
That's a pro tip there. So a quick bit about the camping. You've seen us at Mossyrock Campground quite a few times. We're in the off season now. So it's a self-registration type thing. Between September 15th, I believe, and March the 15th or May the 15th, don't quote me. It's first come, first serve in there. So it's not reservable, but it's not overrun with people either. We're the only idiots in there staying in a tent. Everybody else is in a big RV or something like that. There's a lot of amenities there. There's showers, bathrooms, fresh water, all of that. It's a well-maintained campground. You can probably see from the video where we shot for the tent that, you know, it's wide open. It's pretty nice. The only downside of it is it's not very sheltered from the wind. So if the wind kicks up in there, it can be a little breezy, but weather's been absolutely beautiful for us. Cold, but very nice campground.